Okay, so you guys are going to be second graders, and we're going to be learning about the three branches of government today. So, starting off, materials, you guys are going to create a KWL chart. You guys are going to need your journal for the vocab words that we're going to be writing, a pencil, and then the three branches of government worksheet that I will give you, which is the one I sent you. And then, of course, your listening ears. So, today, before we start, while we fill out our KWL chart, what do you guys know about the three branches of government? It's okay if you guys don't know anything because we're going to jump into this today. That there's three. Perfect. So we can go ahead and write that down on our no part of our KWL chart. So we're going to write down that there's three branches of government.
So right now I have this little handout that I'm going to pass on.
I know that one of them is about the president, but I don't know which one.
Perfect. So you can write that down. You guys can write about anything you guys already know about it. We're going to dive deeper into this soon. And then on the middle part of your KWL chart, the no part, you're going to write down what you want to know about the government.
Which one is which?
Yes, there's three. We're also going to learn about what parts of government work in each one and where they work. So, before we dive into the lesson, we're going to watch this video very quickly.
The president leads the executive branch carrying out laws, vetoing laws, directing national defense, directing sessions, So what? Tell me what have they talked about?
Can you guys hear it?
I can read it.
Okay, cool.
The second branch we're going to learn about today is judicial, where the judicial branch is a part of the Supreme Court, and it is made of 9 judges. These judges lead the judicial branch. This branch reviews laws and decides between non-federal laws and states' rights. This branch reviews all judges are in the judicial branch. So the last branch that we're going to learn about is the legislative branch. The House works
You guys get the gist. I'm not going to play the whole thing. So, our objectives. So, after this lesson about the three branches of government, students will be able to identify, list, and summarize information about the branches of government by writing 10 facts and being able to describe the people involved in each and what their function is. So, first, before we start off, some vocabulary word that is important for this lesson. We have a bill. A bill is an idea for a new law that is made by Congress. But bills can be vetoed by the president. If they get vetoed, that means they cannot be made into laws. So that leads us into our first one. If you guys pull up the worksheet I gave you guys, basically, we can popcorn read. I guess we have time. Do you have it or no?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Carly, can you read the first one, the executive branch?
The president leads the executive branch, carrying out laws, vetoing laws, directing national defense, and directing government. This branch works in the White House.
Perfect. Can you go ahead and read the judicial branch for me?
Judicial branch. The Supreme Court, made of 9 judges, leads the judicial branch. This branch reviews laws and decides cases that involve states' rights. This branch works in the Supreme Court building.
Perfect. And I'll go ahead and read the last one, the legislative branch. It's the House of Representatives that includes 435 voting members. The Senate includes 100 people and make up Congress. They lead the legislative branch, and they basically get to decide what laws, if they're fair, they can be placed into laws. If not, they also have the power to veto the laws the same way as the president, and they kind of all work together to decide what's best for our government. So, couple of quick facts. So we have our legislative, United States Congress, and they make the bills. The bills cannot become laws until they are proven by the executive branch. Does anyone remember from our video and what we just read who works in the executive branch?
The president.
The president, yes. So the president is our leader not only of our country, but also he's the leader of the executive branch. Think about it as your parents. They have a job, right? They have someone that's in charge of them. So the president is the one that is in charge of this branch specifically. They also work directly in the White House. The legislative branch, they work in the Capitol. So they all work together, they all work in the Capitol, they meet together. While the executive branch, which is the president and his core members, they work in the White House. And once again, a bill cannot become a law until it is approved by the president. So then we have the judicial branch, which they all work in the Supreme Court building on Capitol Hill. The Supreme Court reviews laws to make sure that they are fair, and they are made of courts and judges. So, review time. Can you guys tell me which branch is responsible for making laws?
Executive.
Legislative. Yes, good job. It's okay. You guys can work together. Who is the leader of the executive branch?
The president.
The president. Good job, Carly. Who reviews the laws in the judicial branch? The judges. Perfect. So we can take some of these facts and we can actually start filling out our what we learned portion of our KWL charts. So yes, now we are going to write down our 10 facts. Remember, our objective is to know 10 facts about our 3 branches of government. So we are going to write them out on our KWL chart. So we can have 10 right here. We can number them 1 through 10. You guys can work together and think, pair, share if you guys want to work with a partner as well.
The branch for the laws is legislative. The head boss for the executive is president.
What about, can you guys tell me what the definition of a bill is? Ideas, yes. They're ideas of new laws that they can come up with.
So we're gonna write this on your note. We're gonna write
Who can reject or approve a bill before it becomes a law?
The president.
The president, good job. What about, what does the judicial branch do?
we have 2 left. I would like the judicial branch and the legislative.
Yes, they approve the laws and make sure that they're fair across the board for everyone.
I've got one. The
Let's hear
executive
it.
branch works in the White House.
Perfect. Yes, they do work in the White House. Do we know where the legislative branch works?
United States Capitol.
Yes, in the Capitol. What about the judicial? That's a tough one. There's a lot of
Supreme
them.
Court.
Yes, the Supreme Court building. It's a very big building. There's a lot of people that work there. And then, so we wrote down our 10 facts. So for our next assignment, this is going to be our next assignment or homework if you guys don't get to finish. So you guys are each going to draw out your own tree, and you guys are going to write down some of the 10 facts that we learned, and you guys are going to title it, so legislative, executive, and judicial. So you guys should have 3 different sections with a definition of what each section does, and just key points that you guys remembered throughout the lesson of what we learned about. And then you guys can also draw like pictures. You guys can draw like the buildings they work in. I can pull the pictures back up. You guys can draw, if you think of a judge, you guys can draw like the little hammer, the gavel that he has. The president, you can draw like just the flag, the American flag. You guys have full range on whatever you guys want to draw. It just has to connect to the 3 branches of government. Okay.
One thing that I would probably draw for executive is like Abraham Lincoln's hat.
That's a
what I
good one.
think of.
Is that the first president that comes to mind when you think
Yeah.
of presidents?
And I'm just gonna, my president, that's
President.
that would be one idea I draw for executive.
Perfect. What about for legislative? We can do the bills. You guys can draw a bill. You guys can write it out. And then you can have the veto or no veto. Do you guys remember what that means?
It will become a law or it won't become a law.
Yes. So the president has the authority to either approve or reject.
I'm gonna draw one that says veto on it.
Perfect. And then another one.
Yeah, just
Lovely. It looks great.
passed.
And then what about for judicial? Who works in the judicial portion of it?
Judges.
The judges. And they work in, yes, the gavel. Or that gavel. And what do they make sure of? They make sure
Checks and balances.
checks and balances and making sure that laws are fair. Actually right.
Or not.
Perfect.
Okay, let's stop here. All right.